This is my first recording on a tape. It may not come out too good, but I'll make an attempt to remember some of the happenings in my 82 years of life. I was born June 20th, 1918, in the community of Hollis, Oklahoma, to Francis Ann and Ezra Corley. Before me came Madge, Charlie, Merle, and Frank. After me was Kenneth, Olin, Ruby, and Dorothy. Merle died in infancy. My dad was a sharecrop farmer, and we moved a lot. When I was three or four, maybe four, we moved from western Oklahoma to eastern Oklahoma in the community of McLeod, Oklahoma. My earliest remembrance was when we lived out in the country east of McLeod. We lived near a Cherokee Indian reservation. When I was 4, my dad took me to an Indian powwow. They built a huge bonfire and beat their drums and chanted and danced. It was kind of scary. I remember Dad sat me up on a limb of a pecan tree so I could see what was going on. I don't remember how long we stayed, but I know I was scared, and Dad carried me piggyback all the way home. Dad had a distant cousin who had a lot of cotton land in western Oklahoma near the small community of Bethel. Dad talked him into letting him sharecrop some of his land. So he even moved us from eastern Oklahoma back to western Oklahoma, and he let my dad have 160 acres and a house and a barn and some livestock. And we lived a half mile south of Bethel. I was in the 3rd grade, and I remember my teacher, Miss Jones. The prettiest lady I thought in the world, except my mom, of course. My brother Charlie was in his teens, and he would hitch a team of mules to a wagon and load it up with hay and go on hay rides with the young people in the community. And I remember Miss Jones would go on the hay rides with them, and on one of the rides she lost her college graduation ring. It couldn't be found. So during the summer school vacation, Miss Jones went home to Oklahoma City. And one morning my mom told me to go milk a cow so we could have some gravy for breakfast. So I crawled under the fence, the cow lot, and saw something shiny on the ground. I picked it up, and it was Miss Jones' ring. I kept it till school started. She was to be my 4th grade teacher. The first day of school, I could hardly wait to give Miss Jones her ring. When I gave it to her, she hugged and kissed me in front of the whole class. She explained to them why, then she gave me a shiny $50. There was a creek that flowed between where we lived and the small town of Bethel. Bethel only had a cotton gin, post office, a grocery store, one doctor's office. Dr. Street was the doctor's name, I remember him, and a few houses and an auto mechanic garage and a church. People didn't know there was fish in that creek until the Corley boys began bringing strings of fish home. I remember about the first time Olin caught a fish. Dad cut a bunch of willow poles, killed a jackrabbit for bait, tied a line and hook, put it on for a sinker, and put a nut on for a sinker, and we were in business. We rigged Olin a pole and let him fish with a bobber. We told him, now you watch the bobber, and when it went under, grab the pole and jerk. Well, the bobber went under, and Olin landed that catfish about 20 feet behind him. You might ask him if he remembers that.